morning routines, motivation, reading, why are all these things suddenly under attack? Something that seems to be very popular these days is whenever people say something that's so different, or something that bucks the trend just for the sake of stirring up controversy.
You mean like a weenie? Okay.
Because what often happens is that person's take ends up going viral. Let me explain a bit more. Just a few years ago, a healthy morning routine, motivational videos, reading books, etc. would have all been seen as undeniably great things, and I would have to agree. Then you have someone who comes along trying to say something so outlandish, and they're telling you why all those things are BS, and these are the things that actually matter. And this is what you need to be doing.
This is the way.
I was actually having a really great conversation with someone in the sauna a few days ago, where this one guy was saying how he saw 2 videos on social media, back to back, and one video was saying this is exactly what you need to be doing, and the very next one was telling you this is exactly what you shouldn't be doing, referring to the same exact topic. And neither was wrong per se, but you have to give them context. And unfortunately, social media, as we know, loves to blow people up who are divisive or who are on one complete end of the spectrum. However, I'm someone who always likes to find the nuance. I try to find the truth on all sides of the issue because that's usually what's really going on.
And that's the truth, with some cheese on it.
Most things in life, as I'm always saying, aren't black or white, but are usually found in the gray area. So in today's video, I want to talk more about morning routines, motivation versus discipline, reading books, or being a producer versus being a consumer, and why all these things don't have to be all or nothing, and when used properly, all of them have their place and can all be amazing, regardless of what the next contrarian on social media is going to tell you. So anyways, let's dive deeper now.
Give me a...
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know, that must mean now subscribe to the channel so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased are on my website, which is jaredbryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, and also make sure to check out all the awesome shirts I have on that website. Every shirt is 100% organic cotton. Each one has its own motivational sayings / words in them, all designed by yours truly, so any support at all, as always, is very much appreciated. So let's dive deeper now. Also guys, forgive me because I am currently getting over a cold. I am feeling almost all better, but as you know by now, I can't let you guys down. So forgive me for the slightly nasal voice I have today. At the time of filming this video, of course. So the first deep dive topic I want to get into today is morning routines. Now I am, and I've always been a huge fan of routines. I get that some people out there are better at just winging it, but me being a more type A personality, I often need and like things to have a lot of structure. This is how I stay productive and less stressed, of course. Now recently I hear certain popular influencers out there saying things like morning routines are total BS and you don't need them, just do whatever it may be. So just to give you guys a taste of my morning routine, I wake up, drink some structured water with lime in it, go outside, get some sunlight, do my grounding, then I meditate, and after that, I'm ready to get my day started. Now, if you're telling me that doing that is not setting my day up for success, I don't know what to tell you. Now, on the flip side, of course, addressing the truth in the people who say that their morning routines are BS, there is something to be said for being able to adapt whenever life hits.
You can change, you can adapt.
Because everything won't always be perfect, everything won't always be in place. One challenge for someone like me who does like structure and routines and being very regimented is that I used to be someone who got so caught up in my whole routine that whenever life hits, because of course it always does, even if it was something good for me like hanging out with a friend or having plans with my family, I wouldn't know how to handle it. So I said the middle ground or the gray area or the nuance in this case is definitely to find a great morning routine, set yourself up for success, get your mind right, get your eyes in the sun, focus on your breathing, but then make sure that you don't become so rigid that you can't adapt and adjust when life hits.
Hang loose.
Because you don't want to be someone who can't be productive at all as soon as one thing changes in their routine. Now the next hot topic that I see getting thrown around on social media often these days is said to that motivation is nonsense because it doesn't last, it's a fleeting feeling, and it doesn't have any place in our lives. And the only thing that you need is discipline. Well, being someone who has used motivation really well over the years, and I believe that it can be very pivotal for us, I'm going to tell you why once again this doesn't have to be an all or nothing black or white situation. Now of course, motivation isn't always going to be there. So in that sense, I do agree that you can't rely on it Because if you're only gonna work out when you're motivated,
You look like you just been spending all your time in the gym.
Oh, man, I ain't worked out in an hour or so, man.
or you only work on your goals whenever you feel like it, chances are you're never gonna get there and you're never gonna make any progress. So this is where discipline comes in. So once again, the people who usually make these blanket statements usually aren't like totally wrong, but it's like some truth that's mixed in with a whole lot of nonsense.
Saw a bunch of nonsense out there. What was going through your head out there last week?
Motivation and doing things like watching motivational videos can sometimes be the exact pick-me-up that you need right now. Sometimes you're going to be like in a place where progress feels slow and you're losing hope, wondering how it's ever going to happen for you. But then maybe you come across an Eric Thomas video, a powerful David Goggins speech, an Andy Frisella video, a Kobe Bryant interview, one of my videos hopefully, or even a post of mine. And then you actually might feel invigorated.
I feel vigorous.
That's not BS, that's actually super positive and can light the spark back in you. The words that we intake and the words that we read will become part of our mindset. Whatever we're telling ourselves or whatever we're listening to will become what we believe about ourselves. So I don't care if it sounds crazy.
You're not crazy.
But I know that like so much of my positivity comes from these motivational speakers and authors, and even like powerful songs out there. Because think about it, when you tell yourself or someone tells you over and over again that you're unstoppable, that will become your reality, and then you're going to start to believe it for yourself. That's different from expecting motivation to always be there, and to always show up for you, but like you can use it intentionally. But of course, relying solely on that without the foundation of discipline will likely set you up for failure. However, if you know what videos or what words or what songs have the power to spark you up whenever you're down, you could of course use these things for a great purpose. There's a reason why all these speakers became so famous. Yes, of course some people out there are just going to listen and not put those words to action, but others of us will take those words and use them to build our own dreams. So it's definitely not a useless thing. Next up, another semi-popular sentiment like that I've seen echoed all over social media that I disagree with is the statement that being a consumer is always bad, and doing things like reading books or watching movies or whatever it may be is all a form of inaction and laziness, so it's never good. Well, first off, being that like I'm an author, of course, of an amazing book, I believe like that reading books has the power to change lives, and even putting aside my own book once again, speaking more generally, the words like that you intake and the words that you surround yourself with, whether it's coming from the people around you, the content you watch, the books that you read, etc., can all be working for you and building up your dreams, building up your confidence, or they can all be working against you and tearing you down.
Maybe I am a complete hack. The absolute worst.
So when people are wondering how I'm so positive seemingly all the time, a lot of that is due to how intentional I am with all those inputs, as well as all the books I've read and continue to read, because these words of wisdom shape my thoughts, my beliefs, and my reality and my actions. So yes, consumption, or rather overconsumption, without putting that knowledge into action, can of course be a detriment, but you also can't be producing 24/7.
First one in the morning, last one to leave at night. That kid was a human dynamo.
There is a time for rest and digest essentially. So it's like when you are resting, you can still be productive by intaking good words, reading powerful stories, and allowing the stories to shape our whole belief systems. And also like this is another way that you could avoid making mistakes that others have made by reading about someone's life, seeing all the pitfalls like that person went through, seeing how that person overcame these challenges. This is amazing wisdom for us, which is why books have been around for centuries upon centuries. So if you're someone who's saying, I should take action 24/7, and I shouldn't consume anything because everything out there is all feeding the Matrix, any type of consumption at all.
The Matrix? Do you want to know what it is?
First off, slow down. You probably just have to like chill a little bit. But also realize that like, if you're not consuming positive knowledge and incredible life advice and life wisdom, you're actually leaving a ton of potential growth out there on the table. And the final either or topic I want to get into, that I often see getting thrown around on social media once again, is the idea of toxic positivity versus painful realism. And like this topic could probably get like a whole video of its own, and I may even consider doing that at one point. Now if some of you are around me for long enough, you might mistake me and my whole incredible outlook on life for being a toxic positive person. So first off, there's a difference between being optimistic and having a positive outlook on life, that no matter what, everything is working in my favor, as long as I'm using my own free will to be the best version of myself, God's gonna help take care of the rest. Versus being like, nothing bad is ever happening, or being a painful realist who's like, as MJ from Spider-Man says, I'm gonna expect disappointment so like this way I'll never be disappointed. And this also brings me to a quote I came up with a few months ago about a rose. So the quote goes like this: some people will look at a rose and only see the thorns, others will focus on the flower on top and ignore the thorns, but I think the best way to do it is to see the whole rose and acknowledge that the thorns are there, but then choosing to focus on the beautiful flower on top while also acknowledging the perfection and the balance. Powerful stuff, I think. So the problem arises when you totally ignore, or as some people say, spiritually bypass all negative emotions without feeling them, and deny your more negative feelings. However, after feeling what needs to be felt, and trust me, in spite of how positive I am all the time, I have also experienced some negative emotions too throughout my life. I've dealt with anxiety, depression, etc. But after feeling everything like that I need to feel, I'm almost always able to reframe the situation and get back to focusing more on the positive. Because oftentimes, after feeling what needs to be felt, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you can then flip it around and be like, it's all going to work in my favor, everything's going to be okay, no matter what I'm going through right now, it won't last forever, I'm going to try my best to focus on all the great things I have going for me, versus all the negative things, I think this is the best way to live. I think all of us should be delusional in believing in ourselves, and believing in our craziest dreams, because this is the best way to manifest all of our desires. So it's not about ignoring what's wrong, or negative and pushing it away, and shoving it aside and just being like, everything is magical, everything is all love and light, because I definitely have seen people out there who are like this.
You disgust me. Go on.
And as positive as I am, that's definitely not me. I'm not someone who's ignoring all the bad, but it's about seeing the entire picture, but then choosing to believe in the potential for change, and realizing that if I vibrate higher, surround myself with good, and I believe in the power of positivity, I will attract and create more of that in my life. So as you can see now, hopefully, taking any of these blanket statements as fact is often complete nonsense and isn't going to benefit you. However, when you are able to discover the nuance and find things that might be good here but not useful here, you actually end up seeing the whole picture and can have a really solid balanced perspective on life. Remember, oftentimes the people who talk in blanket black or white statements are often doing so to get a reaction out of you and to receive a plethora of both negative and positive comments, because doing this is going to help them blow up faster. But being reasonable and finding the middle ground might not be as popular much of the time, but that's usually where the best answers lie. Also, oftentimes the answer doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both depending on the context of the situation. Anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed all the topics I spoke about. Let me know your thoughts on anything like I covered in today's video. If you guys like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. You got this. Peace.